This is a video Missy took on the way to work the day after the ice storm, showing all the damage and all that.
Happened?
Thawed out meat. Some of it's savable, some's not. Most of us, but we got the other two freezers out there right now running on my inverter from the truck, so they're okay. But I have some dog food, some pig food, and some waste food.
So what ended up happening with the electricity being out, we were cautious of the freezers outside, but we were not cautious of, we forgot about the freezer here in the house, in the side-by-side, and then there's a stand-up freezer inside the house. So right now, what we have done is the black stone has been pulled out of the camper.
The majority of the food, the majority of our food's in the big freezers outside, so.
In the sheds, in which it was below freezing last night, so that wasn't an issue. And because we have a farm and we sell meat, my husband has an inverter inside of his truck. So right now we're just freezing, running the truck, making sure everything's frozen. And another thing about having no electricity is you get so much work done that you haven't expected to. All the limbs that were down are now picked up. There's still some hanging that will have to be cut eventually, but they're attached right now and you can't just yank them off. And the amount of trees that were down and the amount of cutting that Richard did is just amazing. Here's how we are seeing at night. Of course, the deck's been cleaned because there's a broom here. We're using solar lights. We're letting the solar panels from the security lights absorb through the day and charge, and then we take those in at night. They're on a motion sensor, so any movement, the light comes on. We use that little bitty one right there for inside the bathroom, so you can just see to go outside. The other thing that we did, and a lot of people may not have this option, but we did, and so we utilized it. We pulled our camper. Y'all may have seen the video of us trying to save it from the tree that was on top of it that was about to break, and it did not break. We got it out, and that sweet tree is now bowed over right there. It bowed back, it came back up and it bowed the other direction instead of the way it was. So it's going to make it, the wolf pup made it also, and we are using it because it's a solar. It has two 100 solar panels on top. We are using it to run our refrigerator and take hot showers. I don't know if I've ever showed you inside of the camper. Now, it's not set up for camping, but if it had gotten too cold, we could have turned the heat on and we could have slept in here. But we do have a heat source inside the house. And like I said, I had just recently taken a shower, so my towel's still hanging there. And you'll see that there's still moisture inside on the mirrors and stuff. But we have a full shower here. My washcloth's still sitting there drying. And this is how we are showering with hot water. We have in here an electric refrigerator that runs on solar, and a freezer, which there is absolutely nothing in that freezer. Of course, in here we've got lights, we have heat, we have hot water. Everything here except for the microwave and the TVs will run off the solar. All right, the other option that we had is, as you can see, things are cleaned up here. But if you look on the ground, there's just tons and tons of twigs. The wind is up, so you can't rake it up and burn it because there's just way too much. You'll have to burn this. The other option that we had for our freezers is, because my husband and I sell meats, he has a inverter inside of his truck, and he uses the inverter to actually keep the freezers running and cold. Now what he's had to do is the truck is running, but everything is plugged in. There's also plug-ins in the back of this truck, but it's not enough to actually run the freezers. Actually, I can't even do my hair out of that. So I don't know what those plug-ins are any good for, but we put the inverter in and that freezer's running on it. And then our personal big freezer out in the shed is running on it. Everything's good and safe there. Alrighty. Our goats are free ranging. It was kind of stressful on them when everything was falling, and so the last few days they've been allowed to just roam on the property. They don't run off, they just hang out. We also have chickens free ranging. We did save all of our eggs. We did not fertilize, put them in the refrigerator. We just kept them out so that if anybody else in the neighborhood needed eggs, or the family needed eggs, they were available and they didn't have to be refrigerated. Oh, the pigs. They're controlled and maintained inside of what is my garden, and I'm using them to tear up my garden and root it up. They are in here by electric fence. Of course, and it is run off of the actual grid. I don't have a solar powered off this. So they have maintained and stayed inside their fenced in area just by these two little pieces of string, because they are trained and know that normally it would get them. So they did fine through the storm. Still have a pretty good sized limb hanging there. We'll work on that. We have plenty of firewood strewed everywhere. All right, inside the greenhouse. As I said, I had small plants that needed light. Things they didn't sprout. They were looking really rough this morning. So I brought them out and they perked up quite a bit. Watered them really good, left them out. I have some that I don't think those are gonna make it. I'm gonna have to just toss those and let those go. The cold weather stuff, I left all the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the, what else do I have over there? The cabbages. I left all that stuff out here and it did fine. Brussels sprouts is the other thing. I left those out. This other stuff I left in the house, brought in the house. The biggest problem is some of it has gotten really leggy. So those will probably just go in my flower beds. And hopefully they will, correct themselves. Just for the record, that daisy's still blooming, even though there was no heat in this greenhouse. Also, there's blooms there. No heat in this greenhouse, but things survived. I did come out one morning and some stuff looked really bad. See, there's some more of that stuff that just isn't going to make it. That was something, a new terracotta tomato that I got from Baker Creek. Never used it before. It came up, it did wonderful, and that was a cherry tomato. Those are not going to make it. Cabbages are just doing really slow. These are impatiens. They've been in the house, no light or limited light, just what I can get out of the windows. And it's keeping the temperature as warm as I could with that one heater in the fireplace. Those tomatoes looking a little rough, but I think they'll survive. The potatoes, I dug around in those potatoes today and they were not producing anything. Found no potatoes in it. So I'm from the South and we're known for whipping our vegetables. So I ruffled them up and I chopped them. And hopefully they will actually start producing some potatoes in the ground there. So hopefully everything will survive. At least some of it will survive, and I will replant the rest of this. The temperature right now, and it is 4:30 in the afternoon, it's 60 degrees, 65 degrees inside this greenhouse. The sun is over the side of the house, so the sun's no longer shining here. It was in the 80s and 90s in the greenhouse. So out of boredom, we are just going to go right around and show you the damage.
Really, we should have showed them before because it doesn't look so bad now.
Things are getting cleaned up. However, there's still a lot down, and I don't know if I told you this, but our whole county, the town and the county, lost electricity. The county below us, south of us, lost their electricity. And the county above us, half of them lost theirs. And then to the west of us, it was also off. The north and the south got theirs back on within the first day, but us and then the ones to the west of us are still slowly getting things on. Yesterday, after 3 days, the town ended up getting their electricity back on. This is coming into our little small town. Now, we live in a small town in southeast Arkansas that has about a little over 2,000 people. I grew up here. I went to school here. I know everybody, their aunts, their uncles, and their grandparents, and they know me. But at this moment, CNL, which is the company that provides our electricity, is working. We thank them so much. But as you can see, trees are down and have been over this road. CNL just a working. Thank you, boys.
Is that R?
That's HR.
It sure is.
That's my daughter's grandfather. Running down the highway on his side-by-side, which in the state of Arkansas is not legal.
But they don't really care.
He's just going down there figuring out what's going on. You have to remember, we are in the country, and for some reason, they're shooting the limbs out of the trees. I've been hearing shotguns. I didn't know what was going on, but that's what they're doing. They're shooting limbs that are broken out of the trees. So, without showing a whole lot of people's property, they have piles.
Yeah, this is
just piles and piles, and still limbs down as they continue to try to get the rest of them down. When the storm was coming through,
these are maple trees down by the mailboxes, and you couldn't get to the mailboxes. They were bowed over so bad, but they survived pretty well. There's a couple of them with a lot of broken branches, but they're beautiful in the fall. They look like a New England autumn.
so as the storm has come through, there's been lots of shotguns being shot. They shoot the power lines to get the ice off. They shoot
The
limbs that are on the trees, and a lot of us country folk take upon ourselves. Now, I took my shotgun out and I shot a line, and the ice laughed at me. It just looked at me. I shot it twice, and
mind you, she was using a 20 gauge with birdshot, so it didn't do anything. So.
wait, no, it didn't.
And literally, the ice did laugh back. I heard it.
Yeah, it laughed. It dropped a couple petal pieces and just went on with its way. The interesting thing about this is our daughter was here this weekend. She is 19 and in college. And we had her come down, and told her, go get your shower in the camper. She couldn't do it. It stressed her out. She was so sick of all of this, no electricity, limited water, having to accommodate, make new, what do you call it?
I don't know. She's being spoiled rotten.
She's being spoiled rotten. She did not handle this, and it scared me in some terms, because my child can't live off grid. She was not able to adjust and overcome the situation. She panicked and went to other people's houses that had water to get showers. Although I have a hot shower, it's in the camper. It wasn't perfect. It's limited. It's 4 gallons of water. You have to rinse off, turn the water off, scrub down, and then finish your shower. Yeah, I mean, she did not handle this well. So I'll have to work on her, and I don't know that I can win this child. She's a little high maintenance. She'll kill me for saying that, but she is. This morning, trying to get up ready and go to church, she was like, how am I going to do my hair? Well, pull it up. It's just part of life. You can't always look at your best. I'm on video right now with no makeup, and this is the way I look when I wake up, except for my hair is wet. So we survived it. It's been a learning experience.
We still don't have electricity.
We still do not have electricity. The electric company did come by and check the lines to make sure that we didn't have any down. Said maybe tonight, probably tomorrow, before we actually get. Richard's emptying out my fountain.
It's gross. It needs to dry. Have mosquitoes.
Have skeeters. So this is how we have survived this ordeal.
Winter apocalypse.
The winter apocalypse. We came out today. It was beautiful. We got lots of stuff done. We got a shed cleaned out that was needing it. Got it organized. I got into goat pen, cleaned all that up. The deck got cleaned and swept, and we did a spring cleaning in February.
Felt like spring today.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. So we were blessed. We survived. Still waiting on electricity. Hopefully later tonight, first thing in the morning. But that's how we survived this ordeal. Thanks for watching.